Maria's hand reaches out in wonder, then clips the edge of the pedestal. The heartstone tilts, slides, and crashes to the stone floor. The crystal shatters into 1,000 luminous pieces. Silence swallows the chamber.
There is no word for this. There is no word.
Torith's translator cuff flashes crimson. Error glyphs pulse. The machine refuses to parse what the human just murmured.
You have destroyed the Heartstone. Envoy. For 600 years it was whole. Explain.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The device cannot translate. Is it a plea? A confession? I have no frame.
Whatever it is, it sounds like weakness. We do not reward failure.
It's not weakness. It means I take responsibility. I want to make this right.
She spoke a word no Oltheen had ever heard. The guards stepped forward anyway, because in their world, damage answered only to exile or blood. Vikarn raised a single hand, and the guards froze mid-step. Spears stayed leveled at the human.
In Oltheen law, a wrong is permanent. We have no forgiveness, no repair. The guilty either dominate their accuser or are exiled. You have shattered the Heartstone. The debt is absolute. Will you challenge, or will you accept exile?
Elder. The word she spoke, the translator labels it a voluntary submission, but it refuses to fit any legal category. Is there truly no concept of making amends? No act that can restore what was lost?
The stone cannot be unbroken. Your sentiment does not mend it. Instead, you will pay with your standing or your blood.
To them, sorry means submission, but staying silent is submission too. So I will speak. Then I reject your choices. I will find a way you have no word for. I will make amends, even without your law.
You speak riddles. Whatever you attempt, the cost will be exacted. Save your breath.
But Maria did not retreat. She would not answer, breaking with more breaking. Maria stepped forward and lowered her head, her open hands raised as if offering something invisible.
I am sorry. This word carries my regret and my commitment to repair.
Torith's translator cuff flickered again, still unable to parse the intent.
You repeat this sound, this gesture. What do you hope it will achieve?
It means I acknowledge the harm I caused. I am not challenging you. I am asking to make it right.
There is no right after a wrong. Your words cannot rebuild stone.
Perhaps it is a ritual of self-diminishment. Many species use them to avoid conflict. It's not self-diminishment. It's the first step to heal the break between us.
The Oltheen listened, hearing only the foreign rhythm of an unformed concept, missing its core. The word hung in the amber air, untranslated and heavy, as the elder's eyes narrowed in unreadable calculation.
She will not be exiled today. We will observe this, sorry, further.
I will catalog every nuance, Elder. Perhaps we can define this anomaly.
Guards led Maria to a sparse holding chamber, its energy barrier humming with pale blue light.
They didn't kill me. That's something. Now I must find the words they lack.
Torith arrived with her recording slate, standing beyond the shimmering field.
Human Maria, describe again the feeling you label sorry. Leave nothing out. It's a recognition of pain I caused, and a promise to do better. A promise. Our language has obligation, but this is personal. Curious.
From a shadowed archway, Vikarn watched, his old eyes dissecting the exchange. The Heartstone remained in pieces, but the human's word had earned a stay of judgment. For now.
Can the Heartstone be restored? I will dedicate whatever resources or craft you require. Number, the stone is grown, not carved. Once broken, its lattice collapses permanently. Then let me offer a replacement, a work of my people's craft, to honor the loss. I could pledge service, years of labor to your people, to atone. You have already been granted mercy. Why offer more? This is illogical. Because the relationship itself is damaged. I want to mend the trust. Trust is a calculation of power. You have none to gain. Yet you persist.
Among humans, repairing the bond is more important than winning or losing.
Torith's brow furrowed. To her, this sounded like a tactic, a way to reposition for advantage. The human envoy was speaking a language of connection that the Olthene had never learned to hear.
You claim sorry heals. Show me an example from your own life.
I once betrayed a friend's secret. I apologized, and we rebuilt trust over time. The bond is stronger now.
You exposed weakness, yet she stayed. That defies evolutionary logic.
In humans, admitting fault invites repair. Concealing it invites ruin.
A tool that repairs relationships after damage. It is like a splint for the bond.
Behind the observation glass, Vikarn's mind drifted to a wound that never healed. He retreated to his quarters, lifting a small carved stone, the only relic of a brother exiled decades ago. He saw again the stormy night his brother walked into exile and the silence that followed.
Sorry, it is a technology none of us imagined. It frightens me.
In that moment, two Olthene, one ancient, one curious, shared an unfamiliar ache, the weight of a possibility they had never been allowed to hold.
I have recorded your words. Now tell me of a hurt so deep it nearly ended a bond forever.
My brother and I fought over inheritance. I said unforgivable things. He left. For years, silence. I wrote a letter. I was wrong. Not to win the fight, but to win back my brother. And he answered.
One watching elder leaned forward, murmuring, "Such vulnerability is humbling. I have never seen a rival concede without force." A scarred counselor shook his head. One human's tale proves nothing. This could be a performance.
Every human culture has this word. It is the thread that holds us together when we break.
In his quarters, Vikarn pressed the stone to his forehead and saw his brother's silhouette unreached.
Your story is compelling, but our people will need more than one voice to believe.
The observation room emptied. The shattered stone lay still, but the chamber was split by a crack that no craft could mend. Rakan entered the chamber, silver scars catching the amber light. Every elder fell silent.
You have kept the human alive. She destroyed the Heartstone. The law demands exile or blood.
We are examining a concept she offers. A word that may hold value beyond our understanding.
Value. It is a trick to weaken us. You let a human poison our way with her soft words.
A murmur rippled through the council. Some nodded with Rakan. Others looked to Vikarn with doubt.
There is logic here, Rakan. A logic that could stop the cycle of vengeance you so revere.
Silence, scholar. Your fascination blinds you to her cunning. She must face the law.
I am not here to trick anyone. I offer only the truth of my regret and a path to heal.
Vikarn's hand tightened on his staff. The stone of his brother pressed against his memory. The council waited. The next words would determine whether the Olthene learned to mend or buried the lesson forever. Vikarn raised a hand for silence. "This council will recess," he said, and strode from the chamber without waiting. Alone in his quarters, he lifted the worn stone, the only piece of his brother that remained.
40 cycles, and I can still feel the silence that swallowed his footsteps.
He saw his brother, Karnak, on the night of their final dispute, pride turning into fury, fury into walking away. Karnak had done wrong, but he had no word to bridge the rift, only dominance or exile. So he chose exile.
If I could have said one word to undo that night, one word to bring him back, the human's word is that word. It is the bridge we never built.
He set the stone down gently. His old grief had a new shape now, not a wound, but a possibility. Vikarn strode back toward the council chamber. His staff struck the stone floor with a new certainty. What he would say next would shake the foundations of Olthene law. But for the first time in 40 cycles, he felt no fear. Vikarn stood before the council, his voice cutting through the restless whispers.
I was wrong to dismiss the human's word. It carries a concept we have never possessed, a tool to mend what is broken. I ask that Maria be freed. Let her teach us this way of repair, that we might learn to keep our bonds alive.
You would let a single foreign phrase unravel our entire legal code. This is madness.
I am willing to share everything. Thank you, Elder Vikarn, for this chance.
Then let us forge a new word. From the human sorry, I propose Sor-Ren, the sound of mending.
On her translator cuff, Torith entered the phonetic structure. The device flickered, then stabilized, accepting the new word. At Vikarn's signal, the guards deactivated Maria's energy barrier, and she walked free into the center of the chamber. Rakan's scarred face tightened with silent fury. The concept had been planted, and he knew the old ways would never be enough again. In the space between two outstretched hands, one brown, one blue-gray, the word Sor-Ren was born. Maria stepped onto the speaker's platform, her hands open at her sides, vulnerable but steady.
Apology rests on 3 pillars. First, empathy. I must feel the pain my action caused, as if it were my own.
Shared anguish. I can encode that with a harmonic rise in the second syllable of Sor-Ren.
Second, admission. Without excuse, I must say clearly, this was my doing.
The elders stirred. Admission of fault was anathema. Their culture taught only deflection or dominance.
Third, commitment to change. I must prove I will act differently, so the hurt never happens again.
A vow woven into the word itself. I am adding a temporal marker. Sor-Ren now carries the future.
But the hardest piece is this. To apologize is to become undefended, to offer your throat and trust.
A visible shiver passed through the Othine. They had survived by armor. She asked them to set it down. Sor-Ren now shimmered in the holograms. A word built from trust, not force. It was almost ready.
Elders, I submit Sor-Ren. It weaves human sorrow with our structure, a word for mending.
I accept this word. Enter it into the codex, and let it be taught. I will speak it first. Sor-Ren, I apologize for my past rigidity. My pride cost me my brother.
The chamber fell silent, so silent the dying crystal light seemed louder than breath.
You debase yourself. This is not strength. It is collapse.
A fearful murmur swept the benches. Some saw a weapon against order.
It is the strongest act I have ever done, Rakan. Stronger than any blade I raised.
The word shimmered on the holoboard. For the first time, an Othine apology had been spoken in public. Rakan said nothing. The grooves around his eyes deepened with an unreadable calculation. A line had been crossed. Sor-Ren was no longer a human echo. It was Othine, born in that amber light.
You have infected our tongue with weakness. I will not stay to watch our people rot.
At his signal, a dozen scarred figures rose. They marched toward the exit, boots echoing on ancient stone.
They walk away, but without bloodshed. That alone is a small victory.
Rakan, I respect your path. We hold no door closed. Sor-Ren remains if you choose to return.
Rakan paused at the archway, back turned, his scarred silhouette framed by the corridor's chill light. He did not speak, but his hand unclenched from his weapon, a single nerve that had known only grip now loosening.
This is the first time a dispute of the scale has ended without immediate violence. Sor-Ren has already done its work.
They felt the pull, even in their rage. The word has power.
Rakan's followers disappeared into the shadowed corridor. The door stayed open behind them, unbolted, unguarded. For the first time in Othine history, a schism had opened without fire. Only a sad, pregnant hope. 3 days later, the council chamber doors burst inward in a hail of plasma fire. Rakan's insurgents had returned.
Vikarn, get down. They'll kill you.
No, I will not meet his fire with more fire. Stand aside, Maria. Rakan, I come unarmed, Sor-Ren, for every wound my decree has dealt you.
Vikarn set down his staff, then his ceremonial mantle, until the elder stood in nothing but his simple tunic, a body with no shield but his words.
He's offering his life to prove the word is real. This is the final test.
You think a word will disarm centuries of rage. Your weakness sickens me.
It is not weakness, Rakan. It is the strength to remain in the bond, even when it is torn.
Rakan's finger curled on the trigger, but his arm trembled, the first tremor any Ulthine had seen in him. In the silence that followed, the new word pulsed like a heartbeat, awaiting its first real trial. The chamber was still. Even the plasma sizzle on the walls seemed to hold its breath.
I do not ask you to forgive. I ask you to let the cycle end with me. Soren.
You should be begging for your life, not offering me absolution.
His soldiers glanced at one another. They had been trained for return fire, never for this.
Every scar on your face was earned defending this people, including from my own mistakes. I see that now.
Rakan's lip curled, but the weapon barrel dipped barely a degree, yet everyone saw it. A tremor ran from his wrist to his shoulder, and the weapon clattered onto the stone floor.
I have carried this rage longer than I have carried any weapon. I don't know how to set it down.
The Karn closed the distance slowly, and Rakan did not recoil. The old warlord's eyes glistened. The battle ended not with a last shot, but with a word that had no precedent in their history. Vikarn extended his arms, and Rakan fell into them, a shuddering sob ripping from his scarred chest.
I was so afraid that without rage, I would be nothing. Soren, Vikarn. For every wound my pride has dealt.
It is received, and I offer mine. For every moment my stubbornness cost this people.
They held each other as the council looked on, motionless, a frozen tableau of a world tilting on its axis. Maria pressed her palm to her heart, tears carving clean lines through the skull paint on her cheeks.
It's real. Soren is not a weapon. It is a cure.
Her recording slate captured the image. Two old enemies locked in an embrace their ancestors would deem impossible. Rakan's soldiers, one by one, laid their arms alongside their commanders, a silent line of surrendered rage. In the ruins of the chamber, the new word hung brighter than any fire. Proof that strength could kneel and rise, transformed. The footage of Vikarn and Rakan embracing flooded every datanet, watched by millions in stunned, hopeful silence. In a modest dwelling, a mother knelt and said, Soren, to her son, trying to stitch the morning's quarrel. A war veteran, his face creased with old scars, watched the recording and laid his ceremonial blade on the public altar. At a local tribunal, a judge traced the newly carved Soren glyph on her bench and wondered what justice could become. Maria stood in a crowded square, watching the same feeds, feeling the planet shift beneath her feet.
The word is propagating. Families are using Soren to mend 37 documented cases today.
Let this word be the first stone of a new foundation. Let us learn to rebuild instead of shatter.
Two adolescents, faces still soft with youth, exchanged Soren in a school courtyard, practicing the hardest lesson. Across the planet, in kitchens and training halls, the sound of Soren began to replace the old silence. The seed had taken root. Whether it grew into a forest or was trampled remained unwritten. Within a year, the Ulthine codified Soren into law. Restorative justice replaced exile for the first time. Ancient enemies met and signed a treaty, their lead delegate speaking Soren before a hushed assembly. On the border that had burned for generations, soldiers lowered their rifles and offered open palms. The broken heartstone was reforged as a mosaic, every shard bound with golden veins, a symbol of mending. Schools taught Soren as a core pillar. Children recited it alongside history and the laws of the stars. In courtyards, children no longer wrestled for dominance. They practiced Soren with bowed heads and open hands. A monument rose in the capital. Two stone hands, one brown, one blue-gray, reaching but not touching. Historians traced every reform back to a single source, a human who shattered a stone and refused to shatter the bond. Rekan himself traded his armor for a teacher's robe, speaking Soren daily to the next generation. The warlike Oltheen were becoming known across the quadrant, not for conquest, but for the courage to mend. Beneath the monument of two reaching hands, Maria returned, silver streaks in her hair, the skull paint long faded.
You gave us a word we lacked, and in giving it, you returned a piece of our souls we never knew was missing.
The crowd fell silent, the weight of his words settling over them like a benediction.
Soren is now carved into every law, every cradle, every treaty. It is our most honored word.
Tears carved paths down Maria's cheeks, not of sorrow, but of awe at what a single honest word could do.
The word you gave us, Maria, has saved more lives than any weapon we ever forged.
Vikarn placed the heartstone mosaic around her neck, its golden veins catching the light, whole in its brokenness.
I only said what any human would say, but you gave it wings.
She whispered Soren one last time into the microphone, and it echoed through the square like a song that had always been there. In that moment, the galaxy's most warlike species bowed its head, not in surrender, but in gratitude. In the quiet of a luminescent garden, Maria stood with Vikarn and Torith, her ship waiting beyond the trellis.
You are returning to your world, but a part of you will always remain here. In every Soren spoken, your voice echoes.
I never imagined a single accident could lead to this. I am the one who should be thanking you.
Without your courage to speak the untranslatable, our people might have fought forever. Now we have a chance.
You said you only did what any human would do. That is precisely why your species is remarkable. You naturally reach for mending where others reach for blades.
Then take this back with you, not just the word, but the belief that every bond can be healed.
They exchanged no formal ceremonial gestures, just an embrace, human to Oltheen, that spoke louder than any decree. Maria walked to her ship, the heartstone mosaic glinting at her throat. At the ramp, she turned and raised an open palm. Vikarn and Torith raised theirs in return. The new word hung between them, no longer alien, just true. As the ship rose into the amber sky, Maria watched the monument shrink below, a world reborn from a single apology. In the shadow of the monument, an aged Vikarn gathered his grandchildren near.
Let me tell you of the human who gave us Soren. Her name was Maria, and she came with only a word.
The children listened, their large eyes reflecting the story that had become a lullaby. Across the quadrant, Torith's linguistic texts were standard study, the word Soren analyzed in every academy. The Oltheen had sent the word to other species, a gift born of a single accident, where once their wars had scarred the stars. Now their broadcasts carried a sound of mending. Vikarn's voice wavered as he finished the tale, but his eyes were clear.
She taught us that strength is not in never breaking, but in having the courage to mend.
The children whispered the word to each other as naturally as breathing, and in that sound, a human woman's legacy lived on, proof that one honest word can change the universe. Far beyond the Oltheen atmosphere, a new monument drifted in the void, an obelisk inscribed with a single word in 1,000 tongues. It was the word sorry, shaped in light and etched in the ancient languages of 100 species. A tiny human ship sailed past, its running lights blinking in the dark. The ship did not stop, but its course bent slightly, as if in acknowledgement. Inside, an older Maria touched the heartstone mosaic, her reflection ghosting over the engraved portrait in the ship's hall of remembrance. The obelisk pulsed gently, a beacon of reconciliation for any who passed. In the silence between stars, the word echoed without sound, convincing without argument. As the ship's engine flared and carried her toward Earth, the monument shrank to a point of light, and then the screen faded to black. leaving only the memory of a word that had no translation until it did. One honest word can mend what force cannot.